Hi guys, we are going to get started here in just a minute. I am going to grab a couple other sheets of cardstock and we're going to be ready to go. We are going to get started. Thanks for joining. Still working on that, being able to see comments at the same time. But I wanted to tell you guys really quickly, this Friday the 28th of February is the last day for celebration. So remember, if you place an order of $50 or more, you can select something out of this catalog. If it's $100 or more, you can select one of the $100 items. But don't forget, if you want to be like a discount shopper, you can spend $99 plus tax, free shipping, and then you can actually pick out 2 free stamp sets out of the annual or the regular catalog. So I just want to point that out. Again, you can go to fourseasonscrafts.com. Right now, I'm actually in the midst of switching over my website to an actual website for a blog so I can put downloads and things out there. So if you go to shop fourseasonscrafts.com, I think that takes you to like my Stampin' Up store. But if you have any questions, you can call me. So enough about that. I want to show you guys some quick samples, and then we're going to go right into showing you 5 fun folds. So I'm super excited about that. These are just cards I received in a swap, and I thought I would just share them with you. I'm going to go through them here pretty quickly. These were a couple Valentine cards. And then these are made with the Hello Friend. This is the free stamp set. Here is another one. This one's super pretty. It has that on the horizon paper, and then this is just a sailboat punch. It's been interesting to see all the different things people are using that for. And this is the rainbow set. And then here are some with the Ladybug stamp set and punch. I don't know if you guys can see this one. It's a little glittery, kind of glittery. And then this one I did a while ago. I think I already showed that one before. All right, so there we go. Those are just some samples. I thought I would run through them really quickly with you. All right, we are going to go through 5 fun folds, and then we're going to make, I think, just 1 card with one of the fun folds. I'll try to show you some samples as well. So this will be the first one we're going to make right here. And this is what, to give you an example, here is what the fun fold is. This is something you could actually make with scraps, because you can see it is just one piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then you have this cute fold up that you can actually then write your message. And you could even put another piece of white up here if you have lots to say. So that's the first one we're going to do. So we're going to take a piece of Calypso Coral, and we're going to get out our paper trimmer. And again, the first thing we're going to need is a piece of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So we are going to go ahead and cut at 4 1/4. And then we're going to cut at 5 1/2, and this is going to be our base card. And all the ones we're cutting all fit within a 8 1/2, a regular size envelope. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of 8 1/2 by 3 1/4. So we're going to go to 3 1/4. And we're going to cut that down. And then we're going to cut it at 8 1/2. Now, honestly, as I just sat here and cut this, I probably should have cut it this way first. That way we wouldn't have waste. You guys would probably be able actually to get a couple cards out of 1 sheet of cardstock. So now we're going to cut it at 8 1/2. So we're going to trim this one piece off here. All right, so if you remember, we have our piece of 5 1/4 by 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, and then we have a piece of 3 1/4 by 8 1/2, And then we are going to score that at 4 1/4. So now we're going to come over here. Let me just make sure I have this in the, so you guys can see it there. So we're going to go to 4 1/4. And now we're going to use our scoring blade, the lighter one. And we're just going to put that right up there. And that is it. So now we're going to take our base here. And we're going to take our half sheet, our 3 1/2, and we're going to just make sure that it's nice and sharp. And then all we're going to do is glue that right down. Now, the nice thing about this one is you can move it over to the, left, similar to our sample here. You can see we just have a small area and a bigger one here. You could actually put it right in the middle. So wherever you choose to glue this down is where you can put it. So totally up to you where you want to put that piece of cardstock. I am going to look to see if I have, I don't. So that's our first one. All right, so let me just go over those measurements with you one more time. So 5 1/2, 4 1/4, just single sheet. Then you're going to take another piece that is 8 1/2 by 3 1/4. Okay, so 8 1/2 by 3 1/4. Now, you can make it wider or smaller. So again, depending on if you have a scrap or not. And then you're going to score it at 4 1/4. And then you're just going to glue that right down. And you're going to end up with a fun fold that looks like this. All right. I love it. I love that one. I think it's one that you don't necessarily use a lot. Okay, this one's super, super straightforward. But you'll see it folds open like this. And actually, I made a bunch of these. This paper is retired, right? But this little snail stamp set is so cute. So I'm actually taking a set of these over to our post office because I ship quite a few things out. And I thought, oh, that would be perfect. They would maybe really like those. So that's it. It's just a different way to score a basic 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 kind of folded card. So that's the next one we're going to do. So here we're going to take our piece of cardstock and our trimmer. And the first thing we're going to do is we are going to cut it at 5 1/2. Okay, so in this case, we want it to be 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. All right, so we're going to take it at 5 1/2 and we're going to go ahead. Oops, that's kind of a loud bang. And we are going to cut it there. And then in this case, we actually just need to score it twice. So instead of scoring it just once at 4 1/4, we're first going to score it at 1 1/2. So again, make sure you're using your scoring blade. So you're going to score at 1 1/2. And then you're going to score at 4 1/4. So we're going to go up to 4 1/4. And we're going to score that. And voila, that is it. So remember, anytime you have a fun fold, and then we're just going to take it here and we're going to use, again, our bone folder, go back and forth. We're going to take this end and move it up like so. And there we go. All right. And that is the same as our card here. And then you can put whatever DSP you want on it. The one thing that's kind of nice about this too is you could put 3 different shades or different combinations of designer series paper that are in the same pack, and that would look really nice. And then when you open it up, you have plenty of space to write because you could make like this side all white and then you could have that strip here. In this case, we had our little character showing. So again, lots of different things you can do with that fun fold. And this again is just like a regular cardstock. You're just adding that one additional score line at 1 1/4. Everything else is the same. All right, so there you go. There's our second one. We're gonna put that off to the side. Keep these together. Oop, put that one there. Okay, now for our next one, make sure I am not, let's see, that was 3. We are going to do, well, let's do this one here. All of a sudden, guys, I'm looking and thinking, did I lose one of them? I don't know, but that's okay. Might have to run out. Okay, the next one we're going to do is one of these bridge cards. Okay, so this is kind of what it looks like. And I'm going to take a piece of black cardstock. And this one is going to be 8 inches by 5.5 inches. So again, to make sure we're getting the most use out of our paper, in this case, because I am using, I'm starting with kind of a half a sheet and I need one at 8 inches, we'll want to go ahead and cut it at 5.5 because that's going to give us our kind of our base card. And then we are going to take that and we're going to twist it around and we're going to need only 8 inches. Okay, so instead of it being 8.5, we only need it to be 8 inches wide. So we're going to go over here and we're going to trim off a little bit. And there we go. So we'll get rid of that 1/2 inch. And now we're ready to score. So we are going to have our first score line at 1 1/4. Okay, so we're going to go here and we're going to have a 1 1/4 inch line. Then we're going to score again at 2.5. So we're going to go to the 2.5 inch mark and we are going to score again. And then I find it's just easier if you flip your page around and repeat. So we're going to go 1 1/4. And the reason is sometimes you end up getting into these weird measurements, and I think sometimes it's harder to remember those. So again, 1 1/4, and then we do 2.5, and we're going to score that again. And then this is what we're going to end up with. So now the one other piece that we need is a piece of, oops, let me bring this back over, because the other piece we need is going to be 1 inch. And I am taking a piece I brought in for something else. So, and then we're going to make that 5.5, because remember our whole, so we just have a little bit to trim off here. By the way, if you guys ever get anything stuck in here, this is what I do. I take a piece of, and I'll use something that's kind of like a little scrap, but I have a piece of cardstock stuck in there. So if you just run a piece of paper through it, it actually just comes out the top there. And now you've got, it's a little dusty in there, isn't it? There you go. Nice. Get rid of that. All right, so here we go. So let me just go over the measurements one more time. So we have 1 inch by 5.5, and then we have our piece of 8 inches by 5.5, and we have it scored at 1 1/4 and 2.5 on both sides. So 1 1/4, 2.5, flip it around, 1 1/4, 2.5. And now what we do is we are just going to layer these over like that and do the same thing on this side here. All right. And now what we're going to want to do to finish this off so it actually makes our bridge is we will take this piece here and you are going to adhere it. Oops, let me move that back. We're going to actually adhere that. So you're going to open it up. So remember, it's like this. You're going to open it up on one side. And this is how you know. Basically, you're just going to adhere it so that it's lays completely flat on these two ends. So let's go ahead and cut some paper so we can kind of finish this card, at least to put the bridge on it. So we're going to pull in this paper here, which is the On the Horizon. And I thought this would look really kind of pretty, actually. So I thought what we would do is show kind of a night, kind of a morning to night. And then I want to show you one other thing that I thought we could do with this particular. So I am just going to look through here, see what we can find that has kind of a night sky look. So I think that kind of looks nice. Let me see if we can find one that's, oh, here we go, a little bit darker. Let's look at the other side of this one. Oh, no, we'll use that one. So we're going to use this, and we are going to cut it into 5 3/8 strips. Okay. And because this is 1 1/4, we're going to cut 1-inch strips. One thing I find when you have something that's going to overlap like this, sometimes if you make it like 1 1/8, it ends up hitting on the paper, like on the corner, and I find you don't necessarily sometimes get a super good cut. All right, so here we go. So we're going to take 2 sheets and we're going to double these up, and again we're going to make it 5 3/8 by 1 inch, or I'm sorry, 5 3/8 by 1 inch. And again, we're just going to put this on here so we can actually end up putting our bridge on there. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to adhere it down, and we'll use the Tombow. I think we can get that off of there. Okay, so here we go. So we're just going to glue this down right here. And again, this is called a bridge card, because it's got, like, you know, the bridge, right? Sometimes they don't make any sense, guys. Sometimes the names. All right, and now we're going to lay this one down and put it right here. Perfect. There we go. All right, and we'll do, let me go ahead just because, yep, we'll just take this piece here and we're going to cut off 2 more 1-inch. Let's just make sure, because those are, this one's a little longer, because well, no, actually I take it back. Same. We can go like this and see that they're the exact same. So we're going to do two more 1-inch strips. And I'm just going to kind of do these. And then we'll put those on the inside. And then take care of that. And again, we're going to take these. And let me just find out, yeah, I think we'll take them from, and again, we're going to go 5 3/8. Those 2. Chop those off. All right. And we're going to glue these on, because I can get to this piece. It might be a little challenging to get to the sides once I put this bridge on. And I will finish this card a little bit later. All right, here we are. So we're going to do, again, 1-inch strip there. And then we'll do this 1-inch strip on the other side. And be done. So I'm going to show you, oh, I brought it. So one of the items in the catalog for a free item is this driving by. And I thought if you took these pieces here that we just laid down, and then you took a piece of, and let me see if I can find, I think this might be it. Okay, and then you put this one in the middle here. So let's just do it. Let me just put it in there because I think it's going to be super nice. So let me see exactly what size I'm dealing with. I think it's 3. Yep. So we're going to go just a little closer to 3 on this one. And then we're just going to take a little bit off at the top. Make sure we have 5 3/8. So we'll need to go a little bit more here at the bottom. All right. Now, if we put this in the middle, you actually could have a card that looks like vehicles driving, especially this one because you got all those hills. So I thought, here we go. We'll take this, and remember, we fold it over once, right? And then here's our black strip that we want to go on, and we're going to line it right up to the bottom. Now, this is another one of those where if you wanted to, you could have it in the middle, you could go to the top, it doesn't matter. It's totally up to you where you want to put it. I'm just going to run my fingers through there. Now, here's one of the kickers. When you glue this down, you're only going to want to put the adhesive at this one area here, okay, the 2 spots. And then you're going to take your piece of cardstock and line it up at the very bottom and make sure that the edges line up as well. So we're going to lay that there, give it a good press, and again, make sure that it is lined up on both sides. I have a few little frays here on my paper. Might need to change the cutter there. All right, but then there you go. Look at that. And the nice thing about this card is it stands up like that. So this is what I thought would be really cool on this card, is if you got these driving by stamps, and then you actually put some here, with minus the presents, of course, right? Minus the presents, minus the balloons. But you could literally have some of these little vehicles all throughout, like all on the edge here, and it would look like a little town, and then maybe just something coming out as well here, like your greeting. I thought that would be a nice way to use that particular fun fold. So a lot of people use these for different sceneries. If you have someone who likes to golf or, play sports or swim or whatever it might be, whatever you can find a stamp set for, right? These are really nice cards because they do sit up. Okay, so there is that fun fold. I thought that one was super cool, and I really like it. I don't use it as much as I should, but I do like it. All right, the next one we are going to do is it's a pop-out card, and this one we're going to it's called a pop-out and extend card. So let me show you my sample here. This is how it goes, like this. And it can also go this way. So the nice thing about any of these cards is don't think that they can only go one direction. They can go multiples. So we're going to go ahead and create this one next. All right. So the first thing we need is we are going to need a piece of 11 by 4 1/4 inch paper. And for this one, we actually cut it right in 2. Oops. I'm moving my cutter there, my trimmer. like I'm gonna put the paper in. Okay, so we're gonna cut it at 5.5. So remember it's 4.25. So we're gonna cut it at the 5.5 inch mark. Instead, so typically we would score it, right? This time we're gonna cut it. So now we have 2 pieces of 5.5 by 4.25. Right? Now what we're gonna take is we are going to take a piece of the inside piece of our card here. And this is 3 inches. Now, one of the other things, for this one, it's 3 inches. You can make it 3.5, 3.25. You can extend that, you know, as much as you would like. You can take it all the way to be 4.25 if you wanted to. So this particular one I'm doing is 3 inches, right? That's what we're going to use for this particular one. Okay. There we go. So now we're going to take our piece of 3 inches by 11. So it's 3 inches by 11. And we are going to score it at 2 inches. Okay, make sure okay, so we're going to score at 2 inches. Again, make sure you always grab that scoring blade. And then we're going to score again at 6.5 inches. Okay, so then we're going to go down, we're going to score at 6.5. And basically we've made a little bit of an accordion folder there. All right, so now we have our 2 halves here, and then we have our accordion folder. So now we're going to fold it up. So how this works is you're going to fold one, oops, I'm sorry. You're going to fold this one. It's laying here. We're going to fold it up close to the paper, and then this is going to fold behind. So it's like an accordion. It's like an accordion fold. All right. Now, first thing we're going to want to do is we are going to want to center the bottom piece, the largest bottom piece, on our piece of cardstock, how we want it to fit. Okay, so however you want it to look, normally you want a small space at the bottom, all right, but you're going to want to make sure that you get it lined up straight. Okay, so I'm just going to line it up here on my grid paper, and then we're just going to put some adhesive on the back here, and I'm going to use the Tombow because that gives me just a little bit of a chance, right, to move it around if I need to. All right, so again, I'm going to look at the bottom of my card here, and I'm going to say this looks, you know, this looks centered. Now, I will tell you guys, before I do this, I probably, since I'm showing you, I don't want to take, oh, you know what? Actually, I do want to show you something, because we're actually going to make this our finished card. So one of the things I do want to do is I want to put some designer series paper behind this. All right. So I'm going to take a piece of 5 3/8. Glad we thought about that. And then we're going to go 4 inches. Okay. So 5 3/8 by 4 inches. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to lay this piece down on here before we glue the other down. So, so I'm going to go ahead and just put some adhesive on here first. And this is some of that marble paper, marvelous paper. We're going to put it right here on top of this bumblebee color. Oops. And we're going to go just a little bit further up. I think I may have not cut that at 4 inches. That's okay. Let's give it a different look there. All right. So there we go. Now we're going to take our piece of white, and I'm going to put a little more adhesive here because that will have dried just a bit. All right, there we go. And now we're going to take this again, and now we're going to position it again on our cardstock with just a little bit at the bottom. Make sure it's centered. All right, And there we go. So now we have a nice base. Now for the top, what you're going to do is you're actually going to fold it down in. Okay, so you're going to fold your whole card right now the way you have it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and put adhesive here. Now, whatever, you know, again, whatever adhesive you prefer using. I do like the Tombow here. You'll want to make sure you don't get, you'll want to make sure you stay, if you use Tombow, stay close enough in, because what you don't want to happen is for the glue to run and then all of a sudden it gets stuck. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your other piece of cardstock you have, and you are literally going to just lay it right on top to get this to line up. Okay, so I'm just going to lay it down and make sure all four corners are even. And you can, oops, I'm just going to make sure that that is even, and then give it a good press down. And then what you're going to have, let me make sure that's down. What you're going to, oops, this way. And now we have, you can see our card. There we go. And now we're going to take a piece of our leftover yellow that we had before here. And we are going to take some black edging that I also cut out, okay? And we're going to use this on both sides. And this came from, just so you guys know, this little strip right here came out of the Colors and Contour. It's just this die cut right here. Makes a really nice border for this card. So what I'm going to want to do is I am going to go ahead and adhere this down, and all I want to show are the edge of the bubbles, if you can see those right there. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive right along the edge here. Okay, and not sure how far to go up. We'll go about that far. And then I'm going to make it just so I can see all of the tips there. Okay, so I'm going to want to make sure. And then I'm just going to use scissors to cut those. Now, obviously, I could have spent a little bit more time and actually measured those out and cut them. But in this case, we'll just do it like this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this right along that piece of cardstock there. Oops. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here. Just trim off that little bit of an edge. And there we go. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side here. Okay. So you can see I'm going to end up getting the same thing. I have a little bit of a piece of, there we go. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing on this side. And again, we're just going to put some adhesive here. You know, it's funny, guys, I have a tendency that always seems to kind of get a little clogged up. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. Make sure my points here are the same. And then I'm going to trim off any excess. Make sure, maybe just a little bit more there. There we go. All right. So now we have this that can fit right in the center of our card. And I'm looking to see, I might cut this, guys. I might make it this way instead of this way. And I'll tell you why. I'm not sure I like how those ends are there. I know what your thoughts are. All right, so let's take a look here and get this trimmed up. Okay, so we're just going to stick it in here, and we're going to say, we're going to trim it right kind of in the middle there. And then we're going to turn it over to the other side and make sure we have it at 4 1/4, right? Because that's our, make sure that's the width here. Yep, 4 1/4. And that should give us a nice, make sure, gives us a nice edge there. All right. I think I like it better. I think I like that better. All right. Beautiful. You guys can tell me what you think. All right, so now we're actually going to take this card. I wanted to decorate this one just a little bit because I also want to show you something that you can do with one of the punches. So this is the Ladybug Punch. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually put AKA a ladybug, but it's not really going to be a ladybug. It is going to be, you guys can see this shape. It can be a bunch of different things. And we're going to actually make it a bumblebee. So now we're going to take our extra small piece here. We're going to take and punch out a black ladybug, and we're going to punch out a yellow one. And then we're going to take a piece of vellum here, and we are going to actually punch out the wings, because that is going to give us a nice kind of clear picture of the wings. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take our bumblebee color, and we have the black already. And now what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut the yellow one. We're going to cut it in half, and then we're just going to take our scissors as straight as we can and cut it in strips. There we go. And then you probably can guess what we're going to do, right? We don't need the head. We got to make sure we get them in order. Now we're not going to use all of them, right? Because we want some of our bumblebee here is going to be black. So let me make sure we got them all going the right way. All right, there we go. So the first one is probably going to be up here. And you can see right there. So we're going to go ahead and put some adhesive here. And we're going to pop it right on there. And then we're going to skip the next one. And then we'll put this one on. And you can see the nice thing is, see, it lines up so well next to the body there, right? So it gives us a nice bumblebee look. And that will go super well with our card colors. Okay, so we're going to make sure we get that lined up fairly well on the sides there. Oops. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to take this one. Now, remember, this one was kind of right up against the other one. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take our scissors and trim across it again. And that way it will make it a little bit smaller there at the back side. And we'll get a nicely shaped bumblebee. And then we're going to take and put some wings on here, and then that will do for our bumblebee. Okay, there we go. So let's go ahead and adhere our border here onto our card. And then we'll put, oh, I forgot, we got to put our wings on our bumblebee. So we'll do that next. So we're going to take this. Make sure before you put anything down that your card is going the correct direction. Okay, and we're just going to lay that right in front. Okay, now we're going to adhere our wings. Forgot about those. But isn't that, I mean, it looks just like a bumblebee, right? Okay, so now one of the things, I know I've mentioned this before, but when you take Tombow glue, if you want to make it so that you can't see the glue, a good thing to do is to take a sponge, and I forgot my sponge, so we're just gonna try to do a small line here of adhesive because you don't want a lot, and then that way you will not see the line. You'll be able to get a nice, so I just ran my finger over it here for this one, and then I'll put these wings right on. I'll get those to line up nicely. There you go. And now we're going to pop him up on some dimensionals. Let's get some dimensionals out, and we'll put some of those on our bumblebee, aka Ladybug, and put her right on the card here. And then we're going to stamp a greeting and put a little, maybe a little twine on here, and that'll be that. So let's see. I think we'll do it just like that. Now, probably if I had some time, I would probably stamp a few more on here or take that bumblebee and put it in several other places. I think that would look really nice as well. Okay, now we're going to take just a strip of white cardstock. We're going to stamp a greeting on here, and then we're going to be done. So for this one, let's use let's make it. There's one on here that says you can bug me anytime. We'll just use that one. It's out of the Hello Ladybug suite. So we'll just go ahead and use that one. Yeah, that'll work. That's pretty good. And then we'll stamp something inside, and then we'll call it a day. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go, guys. Just gonna take this. And okay, I'm going to stamp this. We're going to see if it works. Okay, so one of my big things is it's always better to have perfect. It's crooked, but that's okay. We'll deal. We're going to trim it a little bit so we can straighten that out, and then we will put it right here on our card. Okay. So we're just going to cut this along our edge here. It has been very, very cold here. So kind of working with these little bumblebees, I gotta tell you guys, it's been it's kind of nice, you know, it reminds you of warm weather and summer, and so kind of looking forward to that. Okay. Well, I'm not sure how straight I did this, but you know what? That's okay. We're gonna, I think I might, yep, I don't think I really like it, but you know what? I think you guys are gonna get the idea. And then we can tie a white, double this up, and then we can tie a white, take this white ribbon string embellishment here and make a couple little bows, and we'll trim these down, and that way, and there we go. So now we have a nice bow or ribbon, and you guys can we can attach it here. I probably would put it on this side, maybe on the other side or below, or we could kind of make this a little longer, I think is what I'll do, and then I will probably attach it right here. And then of course I would put some rhinestones on there, and I think that would make it look really nice. And don't forget, on these basic jewels, you can actually use your markers and color those in. And then that way they will actually be any color. And one of the things I want to say is if you guys place, don't forget, if you place a $50 order, you get your free items from Celebration. But I'm also, because I didn't get to the card kit this month, I'm actually going to send everybody one of these packs of rhinestone basic jewels through the mail, and you'll get one of these. So when you place an order by the end of the month, by end of February, you will get one of these. Or if you sign up as a demonstrator and you get all those other things, I will also send you one of these. So that is that. So I think I have one more fold to show you guys, because I think we went through 4. Let me clean out my space here. I have a hot little mess going here. So I know I have another one. So again, we have this one here. That's our pull out and extend card. Then we have our bridge fold card. Forgot there for a minute. Okay, so we have that one. That's our nice bridge fold. Then we did just our flap fold here. Again, remember, this one was just the one that extended. That's this one here. Then we did our card here that was just our middle fun flap right there. And I owe you guys one more. So let's do a really quick one. And we will do one that is similar to our bridge card here. Only it's a little bit wider, you'll see. And it's one that goes out like this. Okay, so we'll do this card here. So let me make sure, because this one does take a different size piece of cardstock. Okay, so it is going to be, you're going to use a piece of 5.5 by 11. So I take that back. It's still the same piece. It's 5.5. No, I'm sorry. It is a little bit longer, because it's 5.5 this way and 11 this way. So typically it'd be 4.25 by 11, right? And in this case, it's actually going to be 5.5 because we want it tall by 11. All right. And now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to score this one. because I got to get 5 in, right? We got to do 5 fun folds. We're going to kind of finish out February with just doing fun folds. I thought that would be a great way to kind of finish out the month here. Okay, so we're going to take this, and I'm going to show you on this one where each one of the folds are. So you were going to score at 1 inch. Okay, so we're going to cut it at 5.5 by 11. So cut it at 5.5. Then you're going to score at you're going to score at 1.25 inch. Then you're going to score again at 3 3/8 inch. Okay, so 1.25, 3 3/8. Then you're going to do like we did before. You're going to flip it around and you're going to score at 1.25. And I am actually going to, this is, now see, that's the only thing that why I was hesitating as far as what maybe you guys would want to do here, but that's going to be that's like our best, because that's a 4.25 in the inside, which is what you want. So when you're doing this particular card, if you have a scoreboard, we didn't use it here today, but I'm going to bring it over. If you have a scoreboard, this may be a better tool to use, and I'll tell you why. Because when I lay my piece of cardstock out here, I can do 1.25, and then I can do my 3 3/8, which would be right, the next one over right there. And if I look here, I am off slightly when I use my paper trimmer. And then when you flip it over, you're going to do the exact same thing. 1.25, 3 3/8. And then when you fold them over, they'll actually meet. They should meet in the middle. All right. But again, just another great fun fold. So we went through quite a bit. This is kind of like, pull card. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it an open pull card. I would say some people might call it like a folded gate card, maybe, folded, because this is a gate card. If it was just this way, this would be considered a gate fold. And then you got these 2 tabs, so maybe a pull gate card. If you guys know what it's called, put it in the comments. That is it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this. I will try to put the measurements below. I don't want to make any promises these days. A little crazy. But I will try to get that done for you so that you can actually get them down there. And then I would suggest, one of the things that I do is I make these and then I put all the measurements on them and then keep them in an envelope. And then that way, whenever you want to use one, you've got them all right there. It's an awesome way. You can just look through that stash and find some paper that fits those cards. All right. Thanks, everyone. Long video. We will see you soon. Bye.